Well, the Matric pass rate has improved by 0.2%. It's gone up, considering it's been a tough year of COVID-19 and all the blackouts that we experienced last year. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga praising the class of 2021. Do they get praise from Teachers Union Naptosa? Basil Manuel, good morning. Are we praising or are we critical?
Good morning, Gareth and Tumelo. Yes, it's worthy of praise because it is within the ballpark that we expected. Given everything that this cohort has been through, I think it's quite amazing that we would even have had a 0.2% increase. As negligible as that sounds, the fact that we've retained what we had last year does make it noteworthy.
And let's take nothing away from how hard the teachers had to work as well. To me, just speaking to at one of the schools, speaking to a few teachers there, yes, the pupils having to sit and go through all their books, but it's the teachers who had to adapt as well. Praise, I'm sure, due to them as well.
Absolutely. Two things stand out, Gareth. Number one, the resilience of children that we sometimes ignore. And number two, the amount of effort, time, and sacrifice teachers have made. There are many that tell us that they didn't have a single weekend in 2021 because they had to do the catch-up as well as do the syllabus for the year. And so holidays and weekends were a thing that were just a dream away. It's not a plan that can be sustained in a long time, but it's something that was necessary for the time. And we hope that it will improve when we get everybody back and we start regularizing schooling again. But it has been an uphill battle. And not to forget the parents, because without the support of parents, the children just wouldn't be there. Without parents waking them up, sending them to school on a Saturday and sometimes a Sunday, they wouldn't have gotten where we are at now.
Yeah, absolutely. All credit to the parents and caregivers as well. Basil, I suppose the conversation over the next few days is going to become this. So let me ask you early in the results. There's been a lot of criticism around the rotational learning, the rotational timetable, whichever term you prefer to use. There were suggestions and critics saying it's going to affect the results. But if you look at an improvement in the Matric results, there's going to be an argument that it might have worked. What do you think?
No, Gareth, I don't think it worked. I, in fact, think that what we have done is we've drained our resources, particularly our human resources, such as our teachers. The amount of catch-up that they had to do has been phenomenal. Now, when you look at the 2022 matriculants, you are looking at a cohort that had 50% of grade 11, 50% of grade 10. So there are many, many more building blocks missing. So the amount of catch-up is doubled. And that is not how you can continue to work. Naptosa has called for a return to normality. We have said, not blindly so, let's also keep focusing on the things that are not there, but we can't sustain the rotational learning. It simply just isn't a plan. Whilst I'm at this, Gareth, let me say, I also hope that soon we are going to celebrate with the Matric passes the vocational child. Because when we think about the pass rate, what is more phenomenal is not only the youngsters that have done so exceedingly well, is that so many children who actually are vocational children have had to do an academic exam and have managed. So we want to see more celebration of the vocational child, of the special child, and of the academic and technical child, so that we can have the entire cohort of our learners being celebrated.
While we, of course, celebrate all the Matric results, the top learners, a few of them we've spoken to or we're going to be speaking to this morning, Basil, perhaps my last question to you is there's still annual criticism, we get this all the time, that the pass rate for Matric is quite high, but the pass marks for Matric are still too low. It doesn't necessarily prepare, in your case, what you were just saying, vocational versus academic. Vocational is one thing. Academic, further studying, a 30 and 40% mark for Matric doesn't prepare you for university. What's Naptosa's view on this?
Our view is that we will support the 30% pass mark for as long as we have a single system that is catering only for the academic child. Imagine, Gareth, if we had a pass mark of, say, 50%. What would have happened to the thousands of not so academic children who are forced into this particular system now? We would have had mass failure. And that we can't have now. The system has to change. We've got to cater for all the different groups within our broader education community. Then and then only can we talk about a more rigorous academic pass mark. That then becomes a different debate.
I feel like we need to have more on this debate, and I'm sure we will. Basil, always good to have you with us. Basil Manuel, the Executive Director of the National Professor Teachers Organisation.